want nobody else but you. Ooh, I know you don't wanna wait for me. Hey, they say you should stay away from me. Hey.
Yo, what's good, SC fam? Your boy Stax is in the building.
And your girl Chrissy.
And today we're gonna continue the rest of this whole catfish situation with the homie Neve, and it's crazy. If you haven't seen part one,
will he be your homie after this? Like
it depends on when the real facts come out, because you don't know if this is the real facts.
I know.
But if the real facts come out and this turns out to be the real facts, then nah, he ain't the Brody no more. But until then, I mean, I guess he's still cool with me. You feel me? But we gotta find out if he really did what she's accusing him of. Like I said, if you haven't seen part one, make sure you go check out that video. We posted it a little bit earlier today. But here go part two. Let's see what Neve gon' do.
That was trash. No, it wasn't. I was kidding.
Oh, alright, bet.
Like, okay, it's time for me to go to bed. He didn't hesitate, didn't push himself up on me, didn't try to stay and hang around. No, he left. I told him, like, I'm going to sleep. It's time for you to leave. And he left.
All right, just a quick recap, just in case. All right, so basically, she was on the show Catfish. You know, she met Neve. He was being super weird to her the whole time. She stop copying. That's what you get. He was being super weird with her her entire experience on the show. He was being super weird with her. She invited him in. Well, not. All right, he showed up. She called him to her hotel room. He came. He asked, "Can he come in?" She let him in. Okay.
They thought they were going. Like
she thought they was going out, but then he said, "We can chill in here," and she said, "Okay." And they chilled in her room. She had two beds. She was on one bed. He was on the other bed. He asked if they can cuddle. She said no. She was going to sleep. He left the room. So far, up until this point, I'm still not sure what she's accusing him of, besides just being creepy. Besides being weird, we still don't know. So we're going to get back into the rest of this video. Do you got anything to say?
So I start scrolling through Instagram, and all of a sudden, I start getting, like, all these hard-eyes comments and comments saying, like, come to room 409. I start screenshotting it, and something told me, like, screenshot this. So I started screenshotting
Post the screenshots.
it. He was sending kissy faces and all this stuff. So I started screenshotting it, and my phone starts blowing up. My friends are like, dude, so-and-so's really commenting on your pictures. Like, what's going on? Because they're not supposed to know you're filming. So I'm, like, having to make up this bogus story. Seriously? Come on. It was just blowing me. It was blowing me how different this guy was in, like, real life. He was literally blowing up my hotel phone all night. I didn't really get any sleep like that. So it was just, like, I woke up so fucking drained and tired. Like, I was so tired. I started hearing the cast talking shit about Jack. The whole time, actually, I was filming, they were talking shit, talking about nobody likes him, he's an asshole, he, just all this stuff. So I'm starting to think, okay, like, I'm not tripping. This guy's a pure fucking asshole. He treats women like they're fucking toys. I'm not tripping. So they start talking to me.
I still don't, like, I don't feel like he was treating, like, I just feel like he was just being extremely thirsty. He was shooting his shot, as the youth says. You know, I feel like he was just he was trying to dunk it. That's how I feel. Because he was being, just going off of what you were saying, he was just being really thirsty. I still don't see, all right, let me say this wisely. I'm not saying I don't see a problem, but I don't see something that crazy to where she got to say the truth about the show.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like, you just telling us how thirsty he is.
Right.
So far. That
could be anybody.
Yeah, so far. Like I said, if it was a regular guy on the street acting the same way, I don't know if it would be, you know, this big a deal. But I do understand it's him, blah, blah, blah.
About it. And they're like, yeah, it's true. Like, whatever. I was telling them, like, yeah, he's flirting with me. And they're like, yeah, we're not surprised. So this was the day I met Oh Girl at the park. You guys know. Put two and two together. This was that day. It was a really emotional scene for me, an emotional day, because, you know, I had this person in my life for so many years, and it just felt like that chapter of my life was close, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I was dealing with depression at the time, so many things. And I think my biggest thing was I knew, like, I hated the way I looked on TV. I had a breakdown because I was so terrified about what they would say about me online. So I was going through so much within myself. So we got back to the hotel. I'm just really upset. It's probably like 5-ish. It was really early when we wrapped up. It was probably like 5 or 6, whatever. Or maybe closer to 6. The whole crew's downstairs at the bar having a blast. I'm in my room by myself. My phone was broken. They knew my phone was broken. My phone was broken the entire time I was filming. The entire time it was broken. I couldn't really communicate with anybody. I had to download a text-free app and the service still sucked in the area, so it was really hard communicating with anybody. So all I had was the crew, which they were off doing their own thing, which I don't expect them to babysit me or anything. They didn't have to. I'm their age. Like, they could have invited me. I just felt so alone. They assigned me a psychiatrist for the show. You guys doing all that, assigning me a psychiatrist, you guys know this is an emotional like thing, and you guys are just down at the bar having a jolly old time, and I'm up in my room and nobody's checking on me. I text one of the production assistants because we had got pretty close, like before, like in the process before we started filming. She would take me to all of the things, like come pick me up and drive me to take me to all the things that I needed to get done.
I do want to say I'm getting totally lost now.
Yeah.
Because before she was just talking about how weird and how much of a creep Neve was, and now she just
Talking about the cast.
now she just talking about how she was left out of the activities. So I don't know where this is going no more. Like I'm kind of confused. I don't know where this is going. But we're gonna continue, and hopefully it starts to make some sense. Yeah. Because at this point it's just like all you want to do is really get some clout. Right. Off of exposing somebody for being thirsty. That's what it really sounds like to me. It don't sound like he really did anything. It sounds like he was just being extremely thirsty, and now you want to get some clout, basically exposing him for being thirsty. That's what I feel like is happening. But let's see what else.
Send her to get things ready for filming. So we had kind of a little, like, you know, friendship connection a little bit. We would always have good conversations. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna hit her up and see what she's doing. So we're gonna call this girl Carol, and she plays a really big part in this story too, so pay attention. I texted Carol and I was just like, hey, are you busy? She said, yeah. Why? What's up? I'm feeling really down, and I was just wondering if you wanted to hang out, but, you know, it's okay if you're busy. She was like, yeah, sorry. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. 10 minutes later, I get a knock at the door, and it's her with like these beers that are like this big. And I was so happy because I'm like, hell yeah, like she came through, like, and she was like, did you think I was gonna leave you hanging? And I was like, I don't know, I thought you were. So it was like a good time. It was a good moment. I was happy she came in, and we started talking. Next thing you know, it's been like a couple hours, and we're sitting here talking about, you know, I'm really unhappy in her relationship. She was telling me how she feels like her and her girlfriend are better off as friends, and she doesn't know how to tell her. So I was giving her advice, and I was telling her, like, you should do this or that or whatever. We were the exact same age, so it was pretty cool. Or I think she's a little bit older, actually.
Doesn't matter.
A little bit older, though, like maybe 1 year or 2 years at that. So then she goes, do you want to have a chugging contest and see who can chug the beer for fastest? Because we were like babysitting the beers. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm not a drinker. I get drunk easily, but the way this beer hit me was so crazy. Like, I don't even know what kind of beer it was. Maybe there's just strong beer, because I'm not familiar with beers at all. But I'm just saying it hit me like something that, like, I've never experienced before. I mean, whatever. It could be that the beers were this fucking big. Like, I'm definitely not saying she drugged me, though. I'm definitely not going to jump to conclusions and say anybody drugged me, because that's a serious allegation.
So, if you're not making those serious allegations,
You kind of already did.
But I mean, she kind of like made it seem that way, and then tried to go back and say, but that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So she kind of already did.
But I do want to say this. Were the beers open when you got it? Or was it closed when you got it? Because that kind of plays a huge part in, you know, whether what we should think.
Or it could be, did she open both of them and pass it to her? Or
that's what I'm saying. Like, did you open your own beer, or was it open right in front of you? Like, what happened? Yeah. Like, what happened?
It could have been. Okay.
She missing major details here. I'm not saying she's lying, but I don't know. Let's see.
I'm not going to say that. I'm only going to speak on what I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm only going to speak on the things that I'm sure about. So, I'm drunk or whatever. At this point, I'm not drunk. Like, I'm tipsy. I have, like, double vision, but I'm aware of what's going on at that moment. So she goes, hey, like, you can come to my room because I want to, like, you know, I want to chill in my room. It's suspect if I fall asleep in here. She was like, I'd rather you come in my room. So I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, it's suspect as fuck. She goes, I have 2 beds. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, that's cool. Because at first I was like, I don't know, you know, because what if I fall asleep over there? And she was like, I have 2 beds. We get to her room,
so like,
and there's one
What's
bed.
the difference?
And I'm
Exactly
like,
my
I
point.
thought you
Just a
said you had
different
2 beds. And she's like, oh, I thought I had 2 beds. We've been here for 3 days. You forgot you had 1 bed. So we're sitting on her bed. And
Wait, so you didn't leave? You didn't think to leave? You just was like, oh.
Listen. She finds herself in a lot of weird situations.
Right.
And just goes with it anyway.
Like, Neve, he could come in the room, he could chill in and watch movies.
After you was just saying how
shows.
uncomfortable
right,
you felt.
and how much of a creep he was, and then this now.
Listen.
It was 2 beds, but now it's 1, and I'm still gonna go in, like.
Yo, she
on, make it
finds
be
herself
mine,
in a
girl.
lot of weird situations that she just go with anyway. But I see what she gonna
I
say.
ordered some hot wings or whatever because I was like really hungry. The last thing, literally, I remember is just the drunk
hungry
just
too.
hitting me like a ton of rocks. Like all of a sudden, I couldn't feel my face. Like it was like I was drunk off my ass. And this is a part of the story that it's hard to talk about. No, I should don't do it.
Here you go.
All right, so have you? I know some of you guys are gonna know what I'm talking about, but the kind of drunk to where it's like you can't control your body, you come in and out of consciousness. I've only experienced that one other time in my life. That's the scariest shit, especially being.
Have you ever experienced that?
That
before?
is so scary. Like,
You experienced that before?
hell yeah, I experienced that shit.
Listen,
It's the worst. Like, it's the worst possible. Like, the worst thing you could ever. Like, I don't even like talking about that story, but that's
Somewhere you're not familiar with people you're not familiar with. I woke up and she was on top of me.
Whoa. I decided not to go into detail about what happened out of respect for myself and the other reasons I cannot explain. The situation is so serious and there's nothing to play with. So not only was it hard to film due to the nature of the allegations, it is not appropriate for all audiences. So that means she feel like she was sexually assaulted by this woman.
right.
Oof.
That's great. Well, you know.
That's wild. The next morning, okay.
I go in my room. I remember just sitting on the floor. It's like when something like that happens, you don't really know it shouldn't have happened. Your mind doesn't automatically go to something like that. And I know a lot of girls do this. They feel like because I was drunk, I shouldn't have got so drunk. I mean, it just has to be okay. Like, that was my process. The team.
Hold up. What did Neve do? Like, what was the whole purpose of the first part just to get to this part that had nothing to do with him? What did he do?
I don't know.
I feel like she used him
to
get
the story out.
get the story out to make it bigger than
it's
not
big,
what it is. Bigger
but
than what it would have been if she just accused a regular person on the
That's
thing.
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
Team had walkie-talkies. Only a few people had one. I don't think everybody had one. I don't know if I had a walkie or if I took somebody else's walkie. I just know that I was like pretty much the laughingstock that next morning. And the only person who would have known what happened was Carol. Literally, people are like, oh, Carol got some ass. She always gets lucky when we do things like this. Go, Carol. It's crazy how I'm in your guys' care. I'm doing a show. Nobody for once decided to come talk to me. God. I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. Okay, so I'm gonna get towards the end because I don't want to cry over this bullshit because I cried for 3 fucking years. I cried. So it's past the sadness and now I'm angry. After we filmed, we came back and my hotel key was with my producer. I was just hanging out in the lobby. I swear to God, the only emotion I really felt, because I was so numb, was loneliness. Like, I was so lonely. Jack approached me and was like, hey, like, you can hang out in my hotel room until your room key gets here. I was like, thank you. Like, I really appreciate it. And I said yes because I thought John was going to be in the room too. Because it was both of them, like, they were together. They both came up to me together. And so I went upstairs with them, and John was like, oh, I have to go to my room. I have to handle something. Peace out, pretty much. So he left. He went in his room. So me and Jack were just talking or whatever, and everything was cool at first. And then, like, he hands me a piece of paper, and this paper says, like, do you find me attractive? And all.
First, if this is true, why is he so weird? Like, that's so weird, but we gonna let it play the rest out.
Why don't she have pictures of all of this, though?
She said she had screenshots. I didn't see the screenshots, but anyway.
All this stuff, and then I told him, I was just like, hey, like, I made a joke, basically, and said, oh, you should hire me as your female co-host. And he goes, oh, is that something you'd want to do? What are you willing to do for it? Nothing, so never mind. It was at this point to where, like, the comments were just, I was numb to him, pretty much. I had the worst time. And I remember it was just adding and adding and adding to my depression. And I just remember I didn't even really react too much after, you know, the situation happened with Carol. I didn't really react that much. So it wasn't like I was like, what the fuck? Da, 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 da. Like, I couldn't even react anymore. I was sitting on the bed, and he was sitting at his desk across the room. Then he gets up, and he comes over, and he sits on the bed. He goes, so he was like, I heard what happened with you and Carol last night. And I was like, oh, really? And he was like, yeah. And he was like, what did you guys do? I want details, pretty much. I was just like, oh, I don't know. He was like, you don't know what you did? And I was like, no. He was like, well, how about you do what you did to Carol, but on me? And he laid on the bed, and he grabbed my arm. He didn't yank my arm, but he just grabbed my arm. Pulled my arm away, got my phone, got up, walked out, sat outside my door until my room key got there.
All right. So that's the complete story. That's where she ended it. As far as we know, there's no part 3. If there is a part 3, we'll react to that as well. But my final message, you got to say your final messages first. So I'm going to say mine first. Okay. Final message is that I find it extremely weird, the situations that she put, like, I feel like, first of all, I apologize to this woman before I say what I'm going to say. It's going to sound like I'm being unsensitive about the whole situation. But I do want to say that I feel like these situations that she put herself in could have easily have been avoided. Like, I'm just saying, for a person that did not want those things to happen, they would have easily avoided those things. Like, if she did not want to be felt like she was being harassed by Neve, like she claimed she was throughout the entire day, she could have just not invited him into her room at 3 a.m. And if you felt like uncomfortable with the chick after the drinks and all of that stuff, and you see that she clearly lied about the amount of beds she had in her room, you could have clearly just, oh no, I'm cool off this. You know what I'm saying? And then 3, if you still felt that way about him, why go in the room with him and just him alone? Like, I don't understand it.
I don't understand that part. But as far as the whole drinking situation, like, I'm sorry that happened to you. If it really did happen to you, that shit ain't nothing to play with. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say. Because the whole other stuff, like, I'm not really believing. Like, honestly, I'm sorry to say, but I just don't believe the other stuff. Like I tried to side with her in the other video, but like it's
not that I don't believe it. It just sounds crazy. Like, and I know sometimes the truth is crazy, but it seemed like it's a lot of stuff. I feel like, and I'm just, I just feel like a lot of it is probably something that you originally was cool with, and then kind of change your opinion on it so that it can fit the story better of like the main thing that happened to you. So you kind of like, But anyway, we're going to end the video there. If you guys want to see more reactions, let us know what you want us to react to down below in the comments. And we got you. If this is your first time watching the Stax and Chrissy video, go ahead and subscribe. And until next time, SC fam, what's good, dog? Yeah.